Am I the a-hole for locking the office fridge after someone kept stealing my lunch? I 34M work in a small office with about 10 people. We share a communal kitchen, including one fridge. Over the past month, my lunch has been stolen 5 times. Not just random snacks, entire homemade meals I bring from home, gone without a trace. It's not just frustrating, it's expensive and messes up my day. I mentioned it a couple of times in the group chat, like, hey, someone's been taking my lunches. Please stop. Everyone either ignored it or sent vague messages like, ugh, that sucks, or some people are the worst, but no one took responsibility. So I bought a mini fridge and put it under my desk. Nothing fancy, just enough to hold my meal and a drink. I also put a little lock on it just for extra peace of mind. Since then, no more stolen lunches. Well, last Friday, one of my coworkers, I'll call her Dana, 29F, confronted me during lunch and said it was weird and selfish that I had a personal fridge. She said it made me look paranoid and not part of the team. I said I was tired of my food being stolen, and this was the only solution that worked. She said I should have just brought stuff I wouldn't care about losing, like snacks or microwave meals, if I was so worried. A couple of others have now made little comments like, don't let him see your lunch, he might lock it up. Or, we get it, you're special. I'm starting to feel like the weirdo in the office just for protecting my stuff. Am I the a-hole for locking up my lunch instead of letting this keep happening? Not the a-hole sounds like Dana is hangry now that she doesn't have free lunch. Not the a-hole, but Dana is your thief. She got hungry and came looking to steal food. Next story. Am I the a-hole for booking my own Airbnb so I don't have to sleep on a couch for 6 nights? My immediate and extended family have booked a vacation for later in the summer. My aunt who found this place knew the owner and they got a great deal. My aunt initially said there are 6 bedrooms. 1 room for her and her husband, my uncle, 1 room for my parents, 1 room for my cousin and her husband, 1 room for my other cousin and his wife, and 1 room for their kids are both under 10. The last bedroom, you may wonder, is where my aunt made an innocent mistake in miscounting. There are only 5 bedrooms. They told me that my boyfriend and I will have to sleep on a pull-out couch. I told my parents I would rather not sleep on a couch, even if it does pull out. I also don't want to make my boyfriend sleep on the couch with me either for his own privacy. It's in the living room, which is in the middle of everything. I would rather not be woken to people starting their day, and I would rather not have to change in the bathroom each and every time or even leave all my stuff in the living room as well. I don't want to change in my parents' room either because I know I would probably rush so that they can have their own privacy. I don't want to put my luggage in anyone else's room and fill their room with my clutter. Same goes for my boyfriend. I don't want to make him do all that either. My family has never had this big of a vacation all together in such a long time. I would love to be involved and whatnot, but I said I would rather not go if I can't have a room to myself, or I'll book my own place nearby and I will pay for my part for the main house everyone is in regardless. My mom refused both options as I will ruin the trip if I don't stay under the same roof. If I get my own place to stay, it would solely be to sleep. I plan to be with my family at all other times and events. I don't care about the price of only getting an Airbnb just to sleep. I want my privacy. Haven't mentioned it to my cousins or anyone else yet that I'm considering getting my own place as close as possible though. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I think I'm adding this edit correctly. I hope this doesn't accidentally delete the whole post. The other day I responded to a bunch of comments the same thing pretty much, but to my surprise got so much traction I did not expect, so wanted to quickly update. Thank you for all your opinions and input. I had booked the VRBO a bit ago. Have not brought it up yet. I don't know if I'm ready to open that yet, or if I should wait till we all get there the first night and mention it when I'm headed 2 min down the road. Got a very close VRBO when I'm headed to bed. Lots of people brought up great points I never thought of, so thank you as well. Not the a-hole, I would get your own Airbnb. Why can't the kids get the pull-out couch? Are you expected to pay your fair share? What would that be? Is it per family? Person? Like, are you expected to pay the same as all adults, but the kids get a room? As for mom, how will it ruin the trip? And if she feels that way, is she willing to take the living room? I think not. It seems your aunt's whole family gets the main rooms. Maybe suggest to mom that she might like to Airbnb with you and boyfriend, where if they need quiet time, they have a place to do so. Mom is probably saying the trip would be ruined because she would be the only ones from her part of the family if you do not stay there. OP replies, my aunt is who planned/found this house, and the young children are her direct bloodline, so I guess they have the upper hand over me. My mom is sisters with my aunt who booked it. But the young children are my aunt's sons, so I guess that trumps my 24-year-old, but lol. Per person pays. I will be paying the same as the adults. I don't mind still paying to keep the peace, even if I get my own place to sleep. My mom's always been like that. Wonderful woman, but perfectionist, I guess. She always says how the family has to stick together and crap. I don't know, I'm close with her, but it's annoying to hear lol. Not the a-hole. I notice they are very quick to try to guilt trip you with, you are ruining the vacation. But no one else has offered to fix this by taking the couch themselves. Go get your nice Airbnb. Opie replies, good point. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit after my sister demanded I stop bringing my boyfriend to family events? I 20M have been dating my BF, Ryan 22M, for about a year. My sister, Amanda 28F, has a 4-year-old Jack. After a family barbecue last month, Amanda pulled me aside and said, hey, just so you know, it might be better if you don't bring Ryan to the next few family gatherings. I asked her why, and she got all awkward, saying, Jack's been asking questions about you and Ryan, and I don't think he's old enough to understand all that yet. I told her we weren't exactly putting on a pride parade in her yard. We were literally just eating hot dogs and chatting with family. She replied, it's just confusing for him. You know how kids are. I was mad but kept it together and said, if Ryan isn't welcome, maybe I just won't come either. She sighed and said I was being dramatic. Last week, Amanda called me, panicked, because her babysitter canceled. I told her I couldn't because Ryan and I already had plans. She begged, saying she was desperate, and I finally snapped. Why do you want me babysitting Jack? What if I accidentally expose him to my terrifying gay lifestyle? God forbid he sees me and Ryan together. Amanda blew up. She accused me of using Jack to make a point and said this isn't about Ryan. It's about you being spiteful. You're punishing Jack cause you're mad at me. She told my parents, and that's when real drama started. My mom called and said I was being selfish for letting a small disagreement ruin my relationship with Amanda. I told her it wasn't small and reminded her of Amanda's comment about confusing Jack. Mom brushed it off, saying she's just doing what's best for her child. I said, what about what's best for me? Why do I have to hide part of my life to make her comfortable? My dad sided with me. He said Amanda was being narrow-minded and told her kids aren't confused by love, they're confused by people acting like it's something to hide. Amanda then put the drama into the fam group chat. My uncle said it's not homophobic to want to protect your kid from topics they're not ready for. Why push it? This set off my cousin. She said, if Jack's old enough to understand that Amanda and Mike are married, then he's old enough to understand Uncle Me has a boyfriend. She accused Amanda of being a hypocrite and called out my uncle too, saying, let's not make this about your own outdated beliefs. She also called Amanda a stuck-up BTCH, and my uncle called my cousin a drama queen. My aunt chimed in on the family chat saying, I don't agree with me lifestyle, but we should still support each other. My grandmother replied, support doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. Amanda's husband Mike texted me saying, look, I don't have an issue with you or Ryan, but this is getting out of hand. Amanda is just trying to avoid awkward questions from Jack, not insult you. I told him, it's already insulting. Would she say the same thing if I were dating a woman? He left me unseen. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If Jack is old enough to understand a man and woman being together, he's old enough to understand a man and man being together. I am also gay, and I would have said the same thing to my sister. It's disappointing that this has divided your family. It really brings out their true colors. I think you should go little to no contact with your sister. OP replies, I haven't spoken to my sister in days now. I'm definitely considering going no contact with her. Some of these comments are saying that she is using Jack as a way to hide her homophobia, and honestly, now that I think about, she might be. What's confusing to me is my whole family were supportive of me when I came out, and they all were so nice and respectful to Ryan when I introduced him to the family. I just don't know why everyone has switched up all of a sudden. Not the a-hole, but those family group chats sound hella interesting. Like a soap opera. OP replies, This isn't even half of the drama that's gone down, just a quick brief as it's too long for me to post the rest of it. The group chat has been going off for days and each family member is now torn. Not the a-hole. What awkward questions are they talking about? It's really very easy to explain to a 4-year-old that grown adults can be in a relationship with each other, whether it's a man and a woman, 2 men, or 2 women. I know it's easy because I did that for my own child when he was little. Jack can totally handle your relationship with Ryan. It's the adults in your family who cannot. You are absolutely right to object and to not babysit if this is the attitude they are going to give you about it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that she needs to get over me missing the birth of our daughter? I work in a job where there are certain times that I do not have access to my phone or I am in the middle of nowhere. These times are well scheduled in advance and basically take up my whole day. There are a ton safety regulations I have to follow during this time. My wife was pregnant and at the time I planned to take off work near her due date. Unfortunately, she went into labor early about a month early and I was on an inspection. I only learned about her going into labor when I got signal again. By the time I got to the hospital, she has already given birth. This was about 1.5 years ago, and I am involved father. The issue is every single time we have an argument, she will bring up, I missed the birth. It happens almost every single time, forms serious arguments to what fast food should we get. Today was my breaking point. We got into an argument about her wanting to change the daycare situation. She wants to change daycare to one closer to the home. I do drop off and she does pick up. The only one closer to our home is too expensive and we cannot afford it. In the middle of the argument, she pulled out, I wasn't there for the birth again. I told her she needs to get over that and stop using it in every argument we have. She called me a jerk and left. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, but I wouldn't have brought it up at that moment, during the heat of an argument. I would wait till after things cool down and talk to her and say how hurtful it is that she keeps bringing that up and that she knows that you had no control over it. If she keeps trying to use it against you, that'd be a more serious conversation. Edit for clarity. Because apparently some people think I'm gleefully defending the wife here, I wanted to edit to say one. My comment was before the OP clarified that he had already had this discussion with the wife before and it has continued and two. I speak from experience when I say to wait after things have cooled down before speaking. This is why many of y'all can't have functioning relationships because you immediately jump to hellfire. With that said, especially because of the added info from the OP, I definitely don't blame the OP for snapping, but obviously heating conversations will never resolve anything. As I said in another comment down below early on, the OP doesn't deserve the resentment from the wife, and I agree with many people that she needs therapy. Only the OP and wife can decide what to do from here and hopefully, for the sake of the kid, can find a resolution that will leave neither with hurt feelings. OP replies, I guess I should have put it in the post that we have talked about this before. She claims she is fine that I missed it when she is calm, but it still always pops up during an argument. Info. Did she have anyone with her during the birth? Did baby have to stay in hospital after birth for more than a few days? I ask because I was like your wife. In a way I still am, but I've talked about it both to a therapist and my ex that missed the birth. It's scary and I'd hazard a guess a little traumatic too. That doesn't mean she gets a free pass to throw it in your face at every disagreement. But if she's still hurting from it, don't expect it to go away with one conversation. Not the a-hole, and I hope you guys can get through it together. OP replies, her mom was there. Baby was pretty healthy and only stayed an extra day since she was born early. Next story. Am I the a-hole for making my son pay for a new pizza when he didn't save any for the rest of the family? I 45F, have 2 kids, 14M and 17F. My son has high-functioning ASD, and honestly most people cannot tell, but it comes out in certain aspects of his relationships such as thinking about others, compassion, etc. My son also eats a lot of food, way more than someone for his age. He is not overweight in any way, so the doctors have not considered this a problem. Here comes the problem for years when we have ordered food. He has neglected to realize that the food we order is for the whole family, not just him. My husband and I have both spoken to him about this multiple times, and usually he just gives half-hearted apologies. We are working on this with his therapist, among other issues he has. On Friday, my daughter had work after school, so she drove herself there while my son took the bus home. He said he was hungry, so I ordered a pizza and told him to save some for his father and sister. I only took a slice. Usually my daughter does not eat much, 1 to 2 slices, and same thing with my husband. That would have left him with 5 slices of a large pizza. About 2 hours later, my daughter comes home and sees the pizza box empty and starts bawling. She usually is not one to complain about food and will usually just make her own food, but she did not have time to eat before work today, and during lunch she was making up a test, so she did not eat since breakfast. I was furious at my son and deducted the money for a new pizza plus a generous tip to the delivery driver from my son's bank account. My son saw and now he is pissed. My daughter thought it was the right thing to do, especially when this is about the 3rd time it had happened to her. My son's reasoning is that he doesn't work, so his only sources of income are for his birthday and Christmas, so my daughter should have paid since she has a job. My husband and I both are on board with what I did, but I don't know, is my son right? Am I the a-hole? Update. For everyone saying we are underfeeding him, we have tons of food in the house. The fridge is stocked, we have snacks, ingredients, etc. My son refuses to learn how to cook, even when we have offered him cooking classes. Even without learning to cook, we have boxed pasta, popcorn, bread, vegetables and fruits, rice, etc., all of which require no cooking ability. He simply chose to eat the whole pizza. Not the a-hole. Having autism is not an excuse for eating the entire dinner and leaving none for the rest of the family, even after being explicitly told not to do so. Having autism is also not a shield against the natural consequences of his actions. He ate the entire large pizza that was the entire family's dinner, and you had to order another one. It was only fair that he paid for it. In the future, perhaps it's best to affirmatively set aside the food for your husband and daughter and yourself labeled so there can be no confusion, and then let him eat. Also, there are some diseases that either lead to extreme hunger or prevent the full cues from registering in your brain/body. Regardless of his diagnosis, there should be consequences to his actions. How big was the pizza? Growing kids may have out-of-bounds metabolism. We have a pizza place that does personal pizzas. Maybe that's a better solution, or a large for the family and a small that is his. Not the a-hole. Opie replies, he ate 7 slices out of a 16 large pizza. A small personal pizza will not be big enough for him, Elmo. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel our posts.